Have you noticed that in life it's hard or harder to get anywhere without prior planning? It's important that you have a clear vision of where you want to go and map out how you're going to get there. So today we're going to be discussing certain vital elements that's going to help you in creating a clear vision for your relationship.
The thing is, if you don't determine where you want to go from the start, it's so easy to just end up anywhere.
Absolutely.
So today we want to talk about with specific regards to relationship, because that's what this show is about.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Mary.
And I'm Julius.
And we're your hosts on the Relationship Real Talk show, where we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real. So with respect to relationship, we want to talk about vision. Now, some people might not think vision matters in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a vision for your business, you may have a vision for an organization, but I think very few people actually sit and think about a vision for a relationship. But it's extremely just as important, because if you are not clear on where you want to go, you will just drift. It's like a ship without a sail. You just kind of drift and end up somewhere you might not want to end up.
It's interesting that most of what's most important to us are not taught to us. We go to school, we learn about geometry, and those are good. We learn mathematics, history, and all of those things, and they help us in our jobs and careers. But the things that really matter the most,
the things that drive our lives.
Yes, our well-being, our relationships, your mental health,
your mindset.
Yeah,
those things are not taught. You're absolutely right, because you go to school, you accumulate all this knowledge, but the world does not reward you for the knowledge you have.
No.
The education system, the academic system will reward you for the knowledge you have. Remember, repeat, right? So you pass your exams, but the real world will reward you for the results you get.
Yeah.
And it's these things that determine the results we get.
Absolutely. It is so important to have a clear vision. Like you said before, if you don't have a vision of where you want to go, then you're going to end up anywhere, especially in a very loud world where everybody speak as though they are professors, authorities, and everyone's got a voice.
And every voice is significant.
Absolutely true.
Every voice is significant, and that's such a valid point you just raised there, that without a vision, you will tend to lose focus. You will go with every good idea, and not every good idea is good for you.
Yeah.
So when you have a clear vision, irrespective of how good the idea is, you can filter it through your vision and your purpose, and then you can easily say, that's not for me.
Yeah.
So bringing it down to relationship though, how do we start to map out a vision for our relationship? What does that actually look like?
In a marriage relationship, it's easier to sit down and map a vision. But in a non-marital relationship, it may be a little bit more difficult. So how do you get a vision for a relationship that is not defined?
Yeah. Not that it's not defined, but it's just different.
It's different.
Like you said, with a romantic relationship, because you're in a relationship together, it's easier for you both to decide, okay, let's talk about what we want this relationship to look like.
Exactly.
Right? So, but with your siblings, for instance, you could actually do that as a family as well. You can decide what's the vision we want for our family.
But relationship is wider than the family.
Yeah.
Work and so on and so forth.
Yeah, even with work colleagues, you might not be able to sit down, or you might feel a little bit weird to sit down with your work colleagues and say, let's map out the vision for this relationship. They might think, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
But you can have a vision for the relationship.
Yeah.
So when we talk about vision, what we're talking about, just think about image, right? So what do you envision? What do you see? When you go to work, what do you envision? Do you envision a team that works harmoniously together, that respect each other, right? So that's a vision, right? With your siblings, what do you envision? So depending on the type of relationship, it might be appropriate to actually verbalize it and say, this is what we want. For others, it might not be so easy to verbalize it. So, I mean, I've had a situation, for instance, where a friend of mine was having difficulty with her son.
Right.
We're having challenges with her son, and the son was just being really difficult, quite sometimes even disrespectful. And she had the right to relate to the son on the same level as he was acting, right? To respond to what he was doing. But she had a vision for her relationship with her son.
Yeah. Okay.
And that vision drove her actions. So rather than responding to him on the basis of what was happening, she dealt with him on the basis of what she wanted to see.
That's very loaded for a lot of reasons. You know, she had a vision, a plan, or what she would like to see and experience in the relationship between herself and her children.
Son.
You know, in this case, the son. And that defined the choices she made.
Exactly.
Even though she had the choice to go with her emotion or to make other choices, but she aligned herself with her goal and allowed the goals or the vision to dictate the choices she made.
And that's what we're saying, that when you have a vision, then you can be focused. You have a clear idea of where you want to go. That determines your choices, that determines your actions, that determines a lot of things. But if you don't have a vision, you just go with the flow. You just and then you end up where you don't really want to end up because you're going on the basis of what's happening right now. So with every relationship, whatever the relationship is, it might be one that you can sit with the person and say, okay, what do we want to see in this relationship? Do that if that's the case. But if it's a relationship you can't do that, you on your own paint a picture. Have a vision for where you want to take that relationship. Now, before we carry on, we just want to remind you, if you have not yet subscribed, to hit that subscribe button. Share this video. I know you're getting great value from it already. So share the video, like it. It will just help us reach more people.
No man is an island. They say, for example, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with the people. In other words, you need relationships in life. How far you go in life depends on the quality of your relationships. So you need to, first of all, how do you want to be perceived? How far do you want to go in life? And therefore that will inform how you respond to people. You know, like we were saying about the mother-son relationship the other time, you could even have these goals or visions for yourself. This is how I'm going to treat people, regardless of how they treat me. This is how I'm going to treat them, to inform the choices you make, even when you bump into difficult people.
No, absolutely. And you made a point there. You talked about the fact that we need people. In life, we need people. Relationships are really important. And two cannot walk unless they agree. That's the power of vision. So if you both have a clear vision of where you want to go, where you want this relationship to go, how you want it to look like, then you can both filter your decisions and your behaviors through the lens of that agreement, whether it's verbal or whether it's just one that is carried by one person. So that's the first thing we want to encourage you to do. Have a vision for your relationship, especially if you're married, for goodness sake. If you're married, you need to have a clear vision for not just your relationship, but your family. What sort of family do you want? I heard the couple talking once and they said, our vision for our family is that our home will be an oasis. Isn't that just beautiful? So when you say my home will be an oasis, if you think about an oasis, it's a refreshing place. So that means hospitality comes in, and that now moves us to values.
So how do we make it?
How do we make it happen? So we have a vision. How do we make it happen? Because very often when people want to create something in their lives, they're looking to change behavior. Right? So they see a certain pattern, they see certain results, and they want to create something different. they start to say, okay, that's why people make New Year resolutions.
Yeah.
They want to create something different, so they go, okay, I'll do this instead of this. I'll
Yeah.
start to do this, or
Yeah.
I'll stop to do
Yeah.
this. And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go even beyond that
Yeah.
and think about what informs your behaviors,
Yeah.
what informs our behaviors are our values,
Yeah.
the things that are important to us, the things that we hold dear. So hospitality is a value. So if you decide, okay, this is the vision, we want our home to be an oasis, that means some of the values that we're going to live our lives by in this home, so in this property, in this home, is hospitality, is kindness.
Yeah.
So you can start to break down and agree on values that you both are going to adhere to or sign up to, as it were, and you will begin to see how behaviors will change, because now we have a standard.
Yeah. What is it that you want in life? What is it that you want in this relationship? And that will inform the choices that that you're making in life. So in a marital relationship, for example, define what's important to you, because what's important to that relationship may not be important to this relationship. And what you have to bear in mind is life doesn't often give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. You know, harsh as that may be, you've got to work at your vision. You know, if all you have is a vision, you are just a dreamer. And it's great to be a dreamer, but until you put your knuckles to the ground and work hard on yourself and work hard on the visions that you have, it remains a vision.
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to wake up from that dream and start to live it out.
Yeah.
And we're saying some of the things you can do is to actually define your values. Let me ask you, if you're watching this, have you ever sat down to think, what are my values? What are the things I really, really value? If you have, then please let us know in the comments. If you haven't, let us know in the comments. Feel free to share some of your values. Now, I'll give an example. I don't think at that time we had actually sat down to say, these are the things we value.
Okay.
We didn't really spell it out. But
When is this?
when we just got married,
Okay.
we didn't really sit down to say these are our values. We have
Well, we talked about our vision before we got married.
we have since done that exercise, but we never really sat down to say, okay, these are the things that are going to govern our home. So when I'm talking about values, I'm talking about what you're going to say. This will govern our behavior. This will govern how we relate to each other. And but family clearly was one of our values.
Yeah.
It was a value for you. It was a value for me, and that absolutely kind of determined how we lived our lives.
Yeah.
It really influenced the choices we made, right? So, for instance, the kind of jobs we took, where we lived, because we thought about our children, we thought about, right? Do you see what I mean? So it actually influences all your choices and decisions.
Yeah.
So if you haven't ever sat down to think about what your values are, I really, really strongly advise you to do it. It's something I do with my clients as well, my corporate clients. And it's powerful because, number one, it helps you understand each other better.
Yeah.
Even for a non-romantic relationship, you know, at work, when you understand somebody's value. So for instance, somebody may have a value of fairness. I think somebody actually mentioned it recently at a session we're having. If you have a value of fairness, when you kind of consider that something is not fair, it will really, really upset you. So while others might be thinking it's not a big deal, so they brought donuts to the company and everybody had donuts, but 2 people missed out. It's not a big deal, but for you it might be a big deal because you might be thinking, well, it should have been split equally and all of this. So when you understand people's values, it really helps you understand them better. So it's a really, really powerful exercise to do.
Absolutely. It may not be easy to achieve the vision when you make choices that are aligned to your belief and your values, and you can begin to work on the vision, and you begin to see changes in your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely true. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask concerning this idea of having a vision? Maybe to you it's just completely strange and out of this world to be talking about vision within the context of relationships. maybe you have been practicing it and you've seen the difference it's made to your relationship. We would really, really love to hear from you. So put your comments or your questions in the comment section and we will come back to you. Today we've been talking about the power of vision and values in designing the kind of relationship you want. I'm a big believer in living life by design, not by default. And when you're clear on your vision and you're clear on the values you hold that you can, measure up to and keep as a standard in working towards that vision, life is just simpler. You make decisions quicker. You can filter things out that don't align. You're not here, there, and everywhere running after all these shiny object syndromes. All the noise on social media is not influencing you because you're focused. And that's what we want to leave with you today, because your relationship is well worth it. So until next time, this has been Julius
and Mary Eniola. It's okay.
Well, doesn't the Bible say the two shall become one?
Okay.
So I'm Julius.
Yeah.
That was what I said.
No, you didn't say I'm Julius. You said this has been Julius.
Yeah, but I should have said this has been Mary.
But you said it's been Julius. That's fine.
Okay, so this has been Julius.
No, point to me. Just say it's been Julius.
Okay, it's been Mary
and Julius and
your Relationship Real Talk hosts. On this show, we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real. See you next time.
See ya.